Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for the InAmerica 2023 pitch competition. My name is Isabel. I'm the Client Relations and Development Consultant for Client Relations and Development here at InAmerica, and I will be the host for this event. That's me. Welcome again. Yeah, so InAmerica's mission is to empower students to become lifelong learners and achieve their utmost potential and pursue their dreams. So this competition was broken into two sectors. The first sector was the business competition, and the second was the social impact pitch competition. So we'll hear from both of those students, all of those students, and they'll give us our pitches. For the business sector, that'll be a 10-minute pitch where they'll explain their idea. And the winner of that section will be awarded a $2,000 scholarship to help further their development. So that's very exciting. And then for the social impact sector, those students will have 3 to 5 minutes. They might have a little bit longer. If it runs over, that's okay. And they'll be awarded $500 to help further their development and kind of get that plan in motion. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our three judges, our esteemed panel, Professor Kenneth S. Beagle, Eli Aitin, and Yoon-Duk Kim. So they're the ones who help share their expertise to our students. They're going to be the ones kind of judging the competition and kind of giving their feedback to the students because they are experts in the field. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Helena Feng, who's the junior partner in InAmerica and the director of college admissions. Helena, if you want to come off mute and introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Isabel. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, guess what? Like I was ready for this. I guess our Wi-Fi is so excited that it just went down like literally 5 minutes ago. So I'm so sorry that I have to use my phone to do this speech right now with you guys. But yeah, I'm very, so that's definitely my pleasure to be here to kick off our entrepreneurship and social impact pitch competition today, a platform created to showcase the incredible potential and creativity of our future leaders. This event is a testament to our commitment to fostering innovation, impact, leadership among the youth. You may be wondering, why are we initiating this camp and pitch competition? The answer is simple. We believe in the power of young minds to shape a better future, and we want to support them. The spirit of entrepreneurship and social impact isn't just about creating successful businesses. It's also about noticing the world's challenges and proactively finding solutions to create a brighter future for all. We encourage you to embrace this opportunity to not only pursue your dreams, but to also make a positive impact on the community around you. In addition, one of our shared goals in here is to get into a great college, right? From our mission officer resources, many of them mention personal impact as one of the major qualities that rigorous colleges are looking for among applicants. InAmerica has been dedicated to nurturing students' talents and expanding impact through our consultation and enrichment opportunities, providing the knowledge, resources, and mentorship to transform your ideas into impactful ventures. As the junior partner and director of college admissions at InAmerica, I have seen and worked with many students with exciting ideas to develop inside and outside of their school. Consultants talk about plans and strategies and supervise the implementation through our meetings. Internally, we also meet regularly to talk about students' questions, concerns, and achievements so as to better support you in the journey of innovation. I know some students have founded their own school clubs regarding their favorite subjects or nonprofit teams where they lead a group of volunteers for academic tutoring, fundraising, etc. Some have started their own businesses using their art talent or engineering skills. With our personalized support and tailored plan, students can really thrive in where they are passionate about. We enjoy seeing the changes from you in addition to the final achievements. In fact, we believe that the most meaningful part is hidden within the process of problem solving, peer collaboration, constantly coming out of your comfort zone, and most importantly, understanding who you are and what you want to be. Many of you have been through summer program applications. Some of you may even are currently applying for colleges. You will notice that in the application essays, colleges are mainly looking for stories to know your personality and qualities. By doing your business and social impact projects, you will encounter challenges and success in lots of aspects, which can be your college application stories. Lastly, I want to express my sincere gratitude again to our judges, families, and colleagues to join us today. Thank you for being part of this remarkable journey. In closing, I want to emphasize that you, the young entrepreneurs and change makers who are attending this pitch competition today at InAmerica Education, hold the keys to a brighter future. As we begin this entrepreneurship and social impact pitch competition, let your creativity soar, your aspirations guide you, and your hearts be filled with the belief that you have the potential to make a profound difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Helena. Yes, so now I would like to invite our three judges and panel to give a short 2-minute introduction about themselves. I could try to explain it, but you guys know yourselves better than I know you. So I'll invite Professor Biggle to come up, to come off mute, speak a little bit more about yourself, and then Professor Aitin and Yoon-Duk, you guys can just go right down the line.
Okay, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here this morning. This is really very, very impressive. I am a full professor of finance and business ethics at Touro University in New York City. I'm also an adjunct professor at New York University Stern School of Business, where I teach business ethics. I've been teaching for more years than I care to think about, probably about since 1989, so closing in on 35 years. I've published several textbooks in finance, and most of my research has to do with the non-traditional aspects of finance, matters having to do with behavior and psychology as it impacts financial professionals and financial markets. I'm also working on a monograph that I expect to be published by 2025 or 26. So working on it regarding the moral aspects of Judaism, particularly as it affects business and the social sciences. And thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to this morning's procedures. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then Professor Aitin, if you want to speak a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much, Isabel. Thank you to InAmerica for inviting me. I'm also very honored and very excited to be here. So just a few words about my background. I split my time between teaching. So I was lecturing a combined diploma for MIT, Columbia, and Dartmouth universities on innovation, and also teaching here in Australia. I'm based in Sydney, Australia, teaching at University of Technology in Sydney, UTS, which is just been awarded the #1 innovation university in Australia. So I was very proud of that. My passion is entrepreneurship. This is where I specialize in. I also consult and do corporate training on the subject. Entrepreneurship is all about how to create startups from within companies so that they don't have to buy them when they're unicorns worth billions, but they can create them internally and have those skills in-house. This was my role when I was head of innovation for Amdocs, a multinational with over 26,000 employees and offices in over 60 nations around the world, where I was also media spokesperson for innovation to this corporation, something that I was very proud of and excited and humbled to do. So my current focus is split between teaching, consulting, and also heading as co-founder with my colleagues, two professors, one from Columbia and one from Indiana University, and we formed an ed tech startup in innovation that is currently being used by the world's top 20 universities, including MIT, including Columbia, London Business School, Singapore University, and Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and another number of top-rated universities. So I'll finish off just by saying thank you so much once again for the invitation. This is something that I really enjoy doing. I've been involved as a judge in a number of these events before, and it's always just such a pleasure to see young talent and brilliant young minds presenting their ideas. So looking forward to that.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Yoon-Duk, if you would like to take it away.
Sure. Hi, I'm Yoon-Duk. I'm currently working as a software engineer at Penn Medicine. Actually, I'm heading an AI project for identifying patient speech and languages. So my background is mostly in computer science and quantitative marketing. I studied these subjects in Penn and Wharton, respectively. I also have an experience founding a startup in South Korea for an application for automated travel itineraries. It used to be a pretty popular app back in Korea. We were featured on the App Store a couple times, and yeah, I mean, I've exited 2 years ago. My relationship with InAmerica goes back to around this time last year when I had the opportunity to participate as an instructor for one of these entrepreneurship camp that was held in person, and I was mesmerized by the innovations and the imaginations of some of these students. It's always very interesting how you can sort of see these sort of ideas that you'd never thought of, especially when you're interacting with a lot of student entrepreneurs in colleges or graduate schools. We tend to think of things in little bubbles, right? Whether it's blockchain or AI or like medical devices and so on. But what's amazing about these like high school student entrepreneurs is that a lot of these ideas are so grounded, yet something that's so unexpected that it's always a pleasure to watch. I really enjoyed getting to interact with the students, a lot of the students that will be presenting today, and I'm looking forward to what they have in show for us. And yeah, I feel very lucky to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for those introductions. Yeah, so just a little bit about the camp. I know I explained it a little bit earlier, but it was divided into two sections, the business section and the social impact section. So brief summary again, for the business pitches, each student will get 10 minutes to explain their idea. They'll be able to show their screen, so if they have any visuals that they want to help aid with their communication, they can do that as well. And the winner will receive $2,000 scholarship to help develop those ideas, which is super exciting. And then the social impact section is a little bit different. Each student will receive or will get 3 to 5 minutes to explain their idea a little bit more in detail. And then the winner of that section will be given a $500 scholarship to kind of help develop that idea a little bit more. So let's get started with the business pitches. So Amy, I'm going to invite you, if you're here, to come off mute. Share your screen if you'd like to share your screen and speak a little bit more about your ideas surrounding rental satellites.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
And if there's like a weird echo or like any background noise, then I apologize because I'm in like a hallway of my dorm. So yeah, okay. So good morning, everyone. over the past decade, the space industry has expanded into something crucial for our daily convenience. And notice I say daily convenience because space is not just about planets, rockets, or aliens, but rather it is an entire system that connects our modern world functions. In fact, the call we're on right now is made possible because of advancements like satellites. However, space instruments like satellites or like rockets are not so public friendly, meaning that it's merely accessible mainly to companies or governments. Slowly though, as space exploration is becoming a hotter topic, opportunities for the public are becoming more available, but yet with a baffling high price tag. But, what if space exploration became more readily available to the public? And what if the public could get involved into the space industry while benefiting the industry? Well, my name is Amy, and this morning today I would be presenting you my idea about this company, which I call InAmerica. Okay, there we go. Currently, advancements in space exploration has been constantly going, and it is benefiting and going towards the benefit for our society, whether it is weather apps, GPSs, and regarding that, the advancements of space exploration is also becoming increasingly higher. Like, for example, Virgin Galactic, they are one of the current companies that's offering the first-person spaceflight opportunities. However, these flight opportunities are priced at around $450,000 per ticket, and they're time-consuming, and they typically are not very approachable for the general public, as this price tag is pretty high. And indeed, 42% of Americans in 2018 did claim to be interested in the space exploration concept, which means that there is a marketplace for this kind of for the general public in space exploration. However, again, with the high price tag, it becomes a problem. And alongside that, there's also another problem regarding orbital litter in space, as we have hundreds and thousands, like millions of orbital litter orbiting around Earth, as it is too pricey to get it back down, and it's not really worth the pricing. Sorry. So, however, there is a solution for that, and the solution is to offer more affordable options for self-exploration that is personalized towards the general public, so it is easy to control without much skill requirement, and it also takes not as much time as actually going physically into space. And regarding orbital debris, it would be really helpful to create a public awareness of orbital debris and organize events towards space cleaning, and that would greatly benefit the space industry on some sort of way. Also, the affordable pricing. Okay. So about where Universe comes in. The idea sparked with the foundational purpose for people to engage in the space industry, as it is a very large potential industry that is constantly expanding. And obviously, once we're done with a lot of technological advancements on Earth, we are going to be seeking out into space to see what we can find next. And we have been doing that for the past, a very long time. And then the idea of universe, like your universe, is the customer has the perspective to control what they see and view via, I'm going to explain it later more in detail, but via an application that we would be designing. And these personalization factors would contribute to how we could get the customers to get into our product. And then possible future plans if Universe actually becomes a standing company, or if it actually becomes a thing, is if Universe goes by its mission of bringing Universe for the general public, then it might become, then a possibility could be there that it can become a first official commercial space airliner that's not overpriced, kind of like airplanes and airlines. And how specific, and then specifically the demands, I listed them down, the ones that I wrote on the previous slides. And then So for offering more affordable options for self-exploration of space, we can provide space satellite rental services to the general public. And these rental services would not be as pricey as, actually going to space for $450,000. And we can also assist and partner with greater companies, because those companies would definitely need some help regarding space debris cleaning, as it can impact their launch of satellites. So we can assist and partner with greater companies to research and establish a way of hands-on space debris cleaning. And how specifically we are going to do that is this accessible application to control nanosatellites that we will be launching into space. The nanosatellite count is, for the first year, if this becomes presentable, is around 10 nanosatellites. So we're starting small, and depending on the data we get after the year, we might include more. So that means we can actually make more profit off of that. But starting off, we're going to be having an application developed to remotely control nanosatellites via all different platforms, Android, iOS, all those. And then it's going to offer a 360-degree controllable view with our high quality cameras, 5 to be precise, on each satellite. And you can run individual cameras for photography, videography, and just generally collecting data, as we can get those from our nanosats. And then depending on what you sign up for, you could get 10 to unlimited photos and video opportunities with the product. And these data and photos, videos that you're collecting and that you choose to take will be stored into our system and possibly sent to bigger companies for analysis if they wished for, and to our partners if they have any like requirements, or if they want any of our data. But obviously there is going to be like a setting where the customer is aware that their data is being like sold to a third person. Sorry, someone's in the back. And then for the cleaning satellites, we are considering selling satellites for a year, and they would be a bit more on the pricey side, and they can customers that purchase the space cleaning satellites can be a part of controlling a satellite for collecting space debris. And these satellites are called ADRs. They're like affordable debris removal technology kind of things. And currently the industry that we are trying to go into is worth about 546 billion. And obviously the space industry is still growing, and it is going to be constantly growing for like the next, I don't know how long, but specifically predicted it should be growing around 51% more. And this thing has, from collected data, has not been like its industry from the collected data has shown to not be greatly impacted by the global economy yet, as space developments are still being undergoing. And by 2030, in like 10, not even 10 years, like 5 years, 10, there's great possibilities of the industry reaching $1 trillion. And this industry is a bit different from other industries. Like, for example, if you sell food, those are like the typical Earth companies. But like the space industry, this is what I personally like to call a big money industry. It's where you spend big money and you earn big money if you actually do a good job of it. So yeah, this is something we have to be careful for. And regarding audience and markets, so 60% of American adults believe that NASA's top priority is monitoring asteroids and objects, and keep that in mind. And 69% of Americans agree that America should dominate the space industry. And speaking from just America in general, we already have a pretty big market, considering how many people believe the space industry is important, and how many people agree, how many people believe that monitoring of objects is important as well. And because of this great percentage, we can take advantage of this market and help engage people in monitoring these data. And these data, they could, and through these data, they could get the idea that they are helping, you know, America become better and more dominant into the space industry, as they are the ones doing it themselves. So, because consumers can get some sort of pleasure, they do view our company in that way, and through that way, they can, yeah, they could buy into our product. And this is a big,
I'm
yeah.
gonna ask if you can just summarize this slide, because
Okay.
time's up and we need Yoon-Duk to kind of give his
All right.
feedback about your idea. So just kind of summarize this one and then we can move on, okay?
Okay, so we do offer like different services, and again, this is a big money company, so it's gonna need a lot of funding and initial research. And through that, we're going to get it either through sponsors, investments, or relationships with other companies. And these are some services that we offer specifically. And within the industry, there are not a lot of, there's basically none that are doing what we envision to do. And the only one, the main one, is Sony Star Spirit, that is also doing satellite rentals. And yet, the sad truth is, Universe is just a theoretical plan, but it did go under some approval from college professors, and they did agree that this idea could be a considerable idea for the potential future. And that's about it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Okay, Yoon-Duk, if you want to give some feedback to her.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Amy. It's well, I really love the aesthetic of the presentation, and I love the branding as well. I mean, Universe is a catchy name, and it's also the idea of, you know, like it's like having like a share of a satellite, right? It's like almost like a timeshare in terms of like a little like private space satellite. So it's a very creative idea, and I loved listening to your presentation. So thank you so much for that. So a few things I would like to see more of in the future would be, first of all, the clarity on what the product is. And I think it'd be great if you could mention that your service is, you know, like related to a satellite at the onset of your presentation, because when I saw the first slides on like the problem and the solution, I was imagining something along the lines of, okay, affordable space travel for consumers. Are we actually getting on the spaceships? But then I later realized that, okay, it's actually a service where I can control the satellite from my app. And I think that might be a little misleading to like some of the people in the audience. I mean, because we have a lot of these, coverage in the media about like SpaceX and so on. So I think it'd be better to like solidify your niche like early on, so that people have like a grounding of like what the presentation is about and what your product is about. And on a related note, I'd really love to see what the experience would be like, right? So what would be the sample image I would get from the satellite? Would it be of a space? And if so, why would I want to pay for it? Why would it be fun to control my satellite and look at these images, right? Because you mentioned the subscription plan of like $10 or $1,000, and now I'm wondering, okay, because it's a relatively like novel product, I want to be convinced that, oh, this is going to be a great experience for me that I love. And on a related note, I think it'd be important to identify exactly who your consumer base is going to be. You mentioned the industry being a $1 trillion market, but what would be your actual customer base? Because not everyone who's like working in the space industry is going to be using your product, right? So are they going to be astronomy enthusiasts? Or so I think it'd be great if you could like nail down on your customer persona, like who they are, what they usually do. Are they a student? Do they like look at the stars for fun? Do they own a telescope, right? I actually am consulting. It's interesting, a private satellite company, and we're doing a lot of work with plate solving and star tracking. So it was actually very interesting to like see an idea like about these sort of like more like customer friendly satellite products. And I think going through that enthusiast route would be a pretty interesting direction, especially considering, you know, your like a position as a high school student. I think it'd be you have a lot of opportunities to engage with teachers and other students who are interested in space, so that you can gather more data and just sort of like pivot or fine tune your company to being more of that sort of like engagement driven experience. So overall, that was my 2 cents. And yeah, again, thanks for the presentation.
Thank you both so much. Alrighty, so let's see who we have next. So next we'll have Leon with his perspective idea. So Leon, please feel free to share your screen and speak a little bit more about your idea.
All right. Okay, should I begin?
Yeah.
Okay. In today's busy world, pet owners often face challenges in finding ways to connect with like-minded individuals who share their passion for animals. Traditional social media platforms can be cluttered and lack the focus needed for pet enthusiasts to truly engage with one another. For example, here's an Instagram post which I saw recently, and you can see there's pretty much like no engagement. There's only 600 likes and there's 1 comment and 66 shares. And as a fellow pet owner myself, this is something that I've always wanted to like have, to build a connection with people who are just as passionate as me. So introducing our perspective. We use an advanced algorithm that takes consumer data and recommends them posts relevant and suited to their liking. This encourages social interaction with other users that have the same pet. Because messages are so specific, it'll be easier for users to connect with others than on a large platform like Instagram. Here's one of our important features, which is a filter geared specifically toward animals. This is my cat, and this is one of my friend's dogs. And when I use social media as myself, I also like to use filters because I find they're a great way to like boost my mood, and it makes me laugh. So I feel like this will be one of the more attracting features of my app. Another one is a system to match pet owners with others that have similar pets, personalities, and interests in real life as well. The program considers factors such as location, weather, and availability before matching, and will recommend a suitable location based on each owner's tastes. For example, for dog owners, it could recommend a park, or for like cat owners, they could recommend a pet-friendly restaurant. This allows the owners to connect, fostering social interaction between both the owners and their pets. An example customer is Leon, male, 15, owns a cat. They like to scroll photos and videos of pets in their free time. They want to share their own pet with other owners, but they're unable to build connections due to Instagram's size. Because of this, Leon looks further for a platform targeted towards pet owners like him. He discovers Perspective, and after seeing the features implemented, decides to stay because he's able to share photos and connect with other cat owners far easier than if he had tried on other platforms such as Instagram or Twitter. The current industry, as mentioned, is Instagram mainly. With Instagram is one of the largest social media platforms with an emphasis on video and photo sharing. And Twitter, although also pretty big, does not have quite an emphasis, but still has some. And as of 2023, more than a third of Americans have a separate social media platform for their pets. So the revenue plan for my app is advertising, promotions, and partnerships. For example, popular social media influencers could promote their product or potential events on our app, as well as famous brands can also sponsor and sell their products. One of my plans for the app is to add a shop as well, and featured influencer products or like company products for pets can be placed on there. To scale, I could use this revenue to potentially upgrade the interface with new looks, and organize events, organize large in-person events to draw attention. Here's a graph of where my company falls in the bigger picture. Facebook is here because, well, not much of the new generation really uses it anymore. Instagram is here and TikTok is here. Well, my company is here because it's more specific than Instagram and TikTok, and it can foster more connections that way. Thank you for listening, and please join me in my journey to connect pet owners everywhere.
Thank you so much, Leon. My dog has her own Instagram page, so this is very interesting to me. So thank you for that. Professor Biggle, if you want to share some feedback for Leon, that'd be awesome.
Okay, thank you very much. I did not get a sense of the size of the market. I'd have liked to see some information about how big the market is, a little bit more information about the competition, some projections regarding revenue and cost, where the funding for the project would have come from. I'd like to see that. Also, going forward, is there potential competition from other startups that might want to emulate your product and knock you out of the market? Otherwise, I thought the slides were very, very good. It's a little overwhelmed. You went through it very, very fast. But overall, I think it was a very, very good job. Thank you.
Thank you both so much. Alrighty, let's see who we have next. All right, so next we have Eric, a multifunctional bookmark. So Eric, I'm going to stop sharing so you can go ahead and share your screen. And yeah, take it away.
All right, hold on. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So, my name is Eric, and this is the ZC multifunctional bookmark. So, I mean, time is wasted when people have to look for a writing utensil when like trying to annotate their books, right? So imagine this scenario, right? You come home from, let's say, your high school musical production rehearsal, right? And it's already like 6 p.m. You have to do your English homework, but you also have to eat dinner, and then you have to practice piano, you know. And then you finally get around to like reading and annotating your book Frankenstein. But then your pencil bag is nowhere to be found, right? So you kind of have to like waste another like 10-20 minutes looking for a writing utensil. And by the time, or maybe not 10-20 minutes, but by the time you find one, you could have already finished like a page or two, right? So what is the solution, you may ask? Well, maybe you could be more organized, but that takes even more time to like just be organized. But if only there existed a product that could save you time from looking for your writing utensil, that's like simple and like practical, right? I mean, can you just put a pen inside of the book, kind of? Well, I mean, that's what happens. It's like, it's a little hard to see from that picture. But from this picture, you can really see that it's kind of like, yeah, it doesn't really look nice, and it like bumps the book, like it has like a little hump. And then if you look at a book that doesn't have, that has never had a pen put into it, it's like basically as good as new. I think the contrast you can see between like kind of like the quality of the pages and like it just looks a lot nicer and newer, basically. And then a side-by-side comparison really highlights kind of like the difference. Like you see like the cover is like kind of like tilting up for the book that has a pen put in it. And it's just a very stark contrast, especially if you put it side by side. So this is where the ZC multifunctional bookmark comes in. It is the ZC multifunctional bookmark aims to provide consumers with a luxury stationery that contains everything you need to read and annotate a book, saving time by allowing students and scholars to begin reading and annotating immediately after they take out the book of choice. We have two different models. So we have the H model, which is the horizontal model. This is what it looks like roughly. And and these are its dimensions. I think if we click this link, you can kind of have like you have like a view of kind of how it looks. This is kind of like the MVP of the thing. I couldn't get it printed, unfortunately, but we have like this virtual view that we can see. And again, here are the dimensions for it. And then I also have some pictures from like the front view, side view, top view, bottom view of the horizontal model. And then we have the other model, which is the vertical model. And this is kind of what it looks like. It's thinner and taller. And because it's meant to be vertically put into book, which I'll show later. And these are its dimensions. So you can see it's a lot taller, but a lot thinner. And same thing with that one. We can also view it from like this view. So you can have like a sense of kind of what it looks like. Right. This little brown thing is kind of like a rubber, like a band. It's kind of like something like this, well, but like a lot thicker that can kind of like hold the pen in, like, and because it's kind of like that, you can hold any pen, really. It doesn't have to be the pen that this one comes with. So yeah. And again, here are some of the pictures, the front view, side view, top view, bottom view of the bookmark. Well, so the solution is a simple and unique solution that helps users save time. And the horizontal model will go in like this. If the pen will stick out from the book like this. And then the vertical model will be more like a standard bookmark in which it goes in through the top and the pen will stick out on the top of the vertical model. There are already existing multifunctional bookmarks, but very few are kind of like designed to save time from looking for a writing utensil. Most of them are like rulers built into a bookmark, which I would argue is less needed when you're reading a book. So this is going to be like the first on the market with first mover advantage, and because it's high quality and unique, it's going to be like the price is going to be on the higher side of if you look at bookmarks or just stationaries in general. And because this bookmark kind of opens up a new market, we kind of need to look at like both the bookmark and the pen market separately, or individually, like together. And these are pictures of the bookmarks. So we're gonna look at the premium bookmark market because so it's gonna be bookmarks of a higher price range rather than like lower price range bookmarks. We have a metal bookmark at $12.80. It's a little small bookmark that's made out of metal, but it is pretty expensive considering its size. And then we have a $36.99 bookmark. It's a really interesting design, and it's kind of like almost like a novelty item-ish, which kind of connects which is a little similar to ours, but it's really expensive. But there are two of them in one, so that's part of the reason. And the other one is a wooden bookmark that has a lot of cool designs. So this is at $14.35. So it is also on the expensive side, but it's a pretty bookmark. It looks pretty, and I think it's less about functionality and more about kind of like the aesthetic of the bookmark. And then going into the pen market, we have a hovering pen going for $99. It's really expensive, but it's a really cool design because it kind of hovers. It's also kind of like a novelty item where it's like it's not really that useful, but it's cool. This one is $31.99 for a more standard stainless steel pen. It is still pretty expensive, but it's I guess more justified than that one, the other one. But it's kind of like it's stainless steel, which I'll talk about later, is the material that we plan on using for the bookmark and the pen. And this pen is $39.99. It's a ballpoint pen, but I have this pen and I really like it because it's a really nice pen, but it's also really, really expensive at the same time. So this product will target students and scholars of many different disciplines. So this is Oscar, that he's going to be the target consumer for our H model. So he's male, private high school student from a high-income family, a habit of annotating in literature, very busy with school and extracurriculars. Quality is more important than price, and he enjoys high-quality stationaries. So this is I think the key things to highlight are private high school student and high income family, as well as quality over price and enjoys high quality stationery. So it kind of illustrates a picture of a person who maybe does not really consider the price that much about the product, and it's more focused on the quality of the product. And then for our second person for the vertical model, it's a female high-income family, med student, reads a lot of textbooks, needs to keep track of notes, annotations are essential, and enjoys collectibles / novelty items. So for this one, it's going to be a little bit different, because she's going to be more she's also from a high-income family and enjoys kind of like these collectibles, but there's also a lot about how she needs like kind of like functionalities for like reading and like taking notes, etc. So that's why the vertical model that has a little more functionality would probably be better. For the marketing, because this product includes necessary features for reading in a book, and it's a simple, elegant solution, it'll kind of be marketed as like a luxury kind of stationery, right? With the horizontal model being more of a collectible with cooler designs because it has a bigger surface area for the actual bookmark itself, and this is also a potential collaboration with artists, which makes it more of a novelty item, I would say, than the vertical model that's more focused on functionality and kind of like so there's going to be more functions, which I'll talk about with it. As for the prices, the horizontal model will be $24.99 and the vertical model will be $25.99. They're pretty similar in price because the age of the horizontal model technically is a little bit bigger, but the vertical model has like more functions, which I think the cost of producing would actually exceed the horizontal model. So they're both made of stainless steel, and with some limited models that can, like for designs on the book market, could sell for potentially higher. But standard models will also have arts from like smaller artists, maybe like local artists or like aspiring artists' friends, where the cost of having their art on the bookmark would be relatively low. Here we have the income statement. I just like to highlight kind of the blue is kind of like the assumptions that I kind of made, and then everything in black is a calculation based on the blue assumptions. There's more on the next slide, but this is kind of how I project it. I think okay, I'll just go to the next slide first. But I expect the revenue from the vertical model to be a little greater than the horizontal model, just because more people use the bookmark to kind of like keep track of the book, where I am in the book, or like in other words, like for more of the functionality aspect rather than just using it because it has cool designs, which is kind of what the horizontal model is more about, which is why I think the vertical model, if only a little bit, will generate a little more revenue than the horizontal model.
Leon, do you mind just condensing everything? Time's up, so we need to move on. So do you mind just summarizing the information that's left?
Yeah, okay. So these are just graphs, and then for scaling, we're going to start from local and online and then move into kind of like stores in the city and then expanding to more mainstream stores. Some international markets to consider. We have kind of like the East Asian markets, because I believe these markets are best because these markets have the most people, or like have a culture that kind of has people that likes collectibles and like kind of like these novelty items. This solution is a little bit different from the most common solution, as it's a hybrid solution, with the horizontal model being a pen plus a bookmark, and the vertical model having more functionality with the pen and bookmark in addition to a highlighter and a ruler function. It's a high quality stationery, but it can also be like a collectible. So it can be for enthusiasts, and the target is more about is for like students from like a higher income family. It's kind of like a luxury product that can serve practical purposes. The team currently consists of me, but there's a lot of room for expansion for like designing, marketing, and website building. So we've designed a rough design like the MVP. We have the first draft, second draft, third draft, and the one that was shown is the fourth draft, with like kind of improved ideas. Plans for the first sales is probably going to be local, as I said before. And then for marketing, it's going to be mainly social media to keep the costs lower at first, initially. And the identified consumers is going to be students from high-income families. And then it's going to be, the position in market is a premium writing utensil. For future plans, we need to obviously find a manufacturer and plan for more team members, kind of like website building, marketing. And then for expansion, we need to like kind of get into more physical stores and potentially looking at international markets in the future, maybe 3-4 years down the line. And then kind of in summary, we identified that time is wasted when people need to annotate their books. It kind of helps people save time with an all-in-one bookmark. The two models, we have the horizontal and the vertical model, with one being a more focused on the novelty side of the product and one focusing a little more on the functionality side. And it is obviously a luxury product because of the higher price range. And it kind of targets students who are willing to spend a great deal of money on stationaries. And we're going to start off more locally and expand into international markets. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Alrighty, Professor Eaton, if you want to give some feedback, give your thoughts about Eric's multifunctional bookmark.
Wow. So first of all, thank you, Eric. I love the enthusiasm. I think that if we have one thing that really stood out here is your incredible enthusiasm. And it was very obvious that you loved doing this and you really enjoyed putting this project together. And this made it a joy to listen to you, even though I have some other comments for improvement. So a lot to unpack here. I'll try not to speak for too long. How long do I have, Isabel? Because there's quite a bit I would love to feedback, but I also want to keep it within time. You're on mute. I'm sorry once again.
I'm sorry. I would say if we could keep it between 1 to 2 minutes, if that would be
Got it. Thank you.
you.
So I mean, there's a lot I would love to say. I'll try and be succinct. So first of all, as I said once again, enthusiasm is great. I'm just gonna jump around a little bit because just to show you also that's kind of what was happening in this presentation. There was a lot of jumping around between the different topics that you need to speak to. At MIT, we teach a method called Real Win Worth It. You're welcome to Google it up. It's about real, what is the product offering, win, about the competition and how to beat the competition, and worth it, the financials and the market. And I felt it took a very long time to get beyond the product. So obviously it felt that you were very engineering focused. There was a lot about the product. And I would say that needed to be balanced more by other aspects of the marketing mix. So it's very, very strong explanation of what the product was, but I really wanted to hear more about the other elements. Mainly it was product and price. There was just a little bit on promotion side. There was very little bit about place, which of course is all about distributions and channels of distribution. So I would recommend to evenly space out those 4 Ps and to look at the business model canvas and the 9 elements there. That's a very powerful way. So one of the things quickly to talk about presentation. It was distracting having 2 screens, Eric, with both you and the presentation, especially since you were not looking at the camera. So by not looking at the camera, I know it's hard to work with a presentation that you're doing online, but very hard for you to establish rapport and engagement with an audience that you can't see when you're looking away from them. So I would recommend in future either practice how to do that engagement or turn that screen of yourself off so that people can concentrate on the presentation. In terms of market opportunity, I would have liked to have seen more about, get a better understanding of the size of the market, a little bit following, it's in a similar vein to the comments by Professor Biggs before me, the size of the market, more about the revenue, about the cost structure. I love the use of persona. That was really great that you used the persona. And as I said, a bigger focus on other aspects apart from product and price would have been helpful. I'll try and finish up. What else did I have? Yeah, I would invest a bit more in the visuals of the PowerPoint as well, Eric. I think you could do more there. Often it was very hard to read the graphs. It was very tiny. You mentioned assumptions, but you never listed those assumptions, and it felt like you were rushing through and you just wanted to speak more and more about it. So you speeded up the way you spoke, but kind of what I'm doing now, because I feel I don't have enough time. So I can understand where that came from, but you need to practice that. You need to practice speaking within time, because you're in a friendly environment here. Isabella's being very nice, but in the real world, you'll get cut off. You'll get cut off. There'll be bells. They'll cut you off. When my students present their pitches, they get between 5 and 7 minutes. They don't get 10 minutes, and they all know that they have to practice it beforehand to get it on time. So you really need to practice that and keep an eye on that. And finally, just a few other points. Call to action. Finish off with a strong call to action. What do you want from your audience? Do you want them to buy? Do you want them to invest? Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for distributions? I really felt there could have been much more on channels of distribution. You barely touched on that, and that was really missing. How do you want to get your product to market? So I'll summarize. A lot on product, a fair amount on price, but I was really missing a promotion. I was really missing a place or what we call distribution and channels and other aspects of the market opportunity. But overall, great starting point, and definitely a great place to build on from and continuously improve. And I think that shows a lot of potential. So thank you, Eric, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. All righty, so let's see who we have next. Next, we'll hear from Jerry about Swish Connect and a little bit more about the basketball community. So Jerry, if you don't mind sharing your screen and taking it away.
Hello, everyone. Here's Ranghu, Jerry, and you could call that. And it's Swish Connect, my product's name. So first, our goal is to make basketball players social. Yeah, and have we noticed that basketball players don't get much chances for real basketball matches because basketball imitators, because they don't get to join their school's team because their skill level, and they don't really get to play against the other team to understand their own skill level, which is related to the third point. And so also people, when they play against strangers in the park, will often result in a big score gap between the winner and loser because the skill difference. So here, our product can solve the issues. Our product is a basketball social app that connects people in the same city for matches. And so people can play offline, like 1v1 or multiple player games, so to improve their skill level. And also we are able to provide a referee for the game that records.
Jerry, if I can just stop you for one moment. I don't think the screen is sharing on our end. It just says that it's loading. So if you don't mind maybe refreshing and seeing if we can see it at that point.
Mine's okay.
Oh, here we go. We can see it now.
Oh, okay. Is it possible to restart? Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, let's just, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so here's Swish Connect, and our goal is to make basketball players social. So have we noticed basketball imitators don't get much chances for real basketball matches because they don't get to play against other strong teams and they don't get to improve. And also, when they play basketball with strangers, often result in a big score gap between the winner and loser because the skill difference. And lastly, people don't have the clear view of their own skills because they don't get to play against others. Wait, sorry, I didn't put it in the present. Wait, what? Okay, whatever. So sorry, my computer's going wrong. And our product can solve the issues. So our product is a basketball social app that connects people in the same city for matches, so they can play games offline to improve their skills. And also we're able to find referee for the game that records, evaluates, and determines player skill for the future matches. So people can improve as they're playing, and to understand what's their weakness, what they need to improve on, and maybe do some workout. And lastly, a ranking system that can help people to find out where their level is after improvement or before improvement, and they can build their confidence based on that. So solution here, be more specific about the function of the app as a social application. You can post stuff on the application that people can see. For example, you say, I want to host a match in the 67th Street Park at the Upper East. So people could see that and reply, or apply the game, and they could host a game. And next to the competitive sport as a competitive sport application, as a ranking system that can help people to see what their skill level is. So, for example, it's just like the ELO system in chess. If you win, you get 10 points, and if you lose, you drop points. And the system can also work as if people want to challenge the higher rank, like people want to challenge people that's way higher than their own rank, they will have chance to do that if they earn specific amount of points. And also, as a matching application, its basic function is to help people improve and match the games for them to play. And so people are able to make friends on the app and able to ask them for where to play the games whenever they want. And basically, we help people to communicate for more matches. And we are primarily aiming for sport and social industry. So here are some strong competitors of us. First is definitely Instagram, because it's a mix of everything, and it has almost everything that we have. And so except the ranking system, because it's not specifically made for basketball. So but people can still communicate on Instagram, so it's a big challenge for us. Also, NBA Live Mobile, because some people don't really trust their physical skill, and instead they may be some strategic basketball players, or so they want to show their strategy on the game instead of physical games. So here we can help to develop their match decision skills. And so, but that's still one of our competitors, and the rest of them are products that's similar as mine, but they don't really have a clear ranking system, and also they don't have they kind of just connect people, and that's like a one-time deal. And next, so here is our user point of view simulating graph. So we're trying to make inference based on the basketball player that I've seen in my school. One of my friend. Okay, so first they might think like, we find an app that can connect people. Oh, so we are able to play. And then there will be some people posting pro tips about how to do a certain move. And then he'll find out that, oh, get to play real people, it's actually exciting. I'm able to improve. And then he'll able to report those who always trash talk, and those who don't want to, he doesn't want to play against, or is sort of illegal in a way. And also he's able to find some people who's able to make friends with, so they can really connect. And after training, they both improved for a higher rank, and he might recommend this to more friends around him, like me. And next page, business model. So the basic function will be free, for example, matchmaking. And because the purpose is to connect people, so we can simply download it and people will benefit from it. The later function will actually require some payment. And for example, there will be top 10,000 players in the rank will have a referee actually for their game. And so to make sure the rank is fair and there's no issue about that. And the revenue after tax, after a bunch of calculation, it'll be about 750 millions over the 6 years on these graphs. So first, let's talk about the graphs. The user amount here, we expect it to be, of course, not that much during the first 2 years. And then the game's, it's the user amount will start to rise after the 3rd or 4th year, because as a social media application, actually, I expect it to expand really fast, the user population. And by the end, we expect to have at least like 10 million of users of 6 years. And our product, which is Swish Wrist, basically it can help to measure a person's status while they're playing. So to see if what's their weakness. Like, for example, when they use left hand to do layup instead of the right hand, why is it weak, and where does he need to work on to be better? And so here, of course, the product wouldn't be up if the users are not that much, and it started rise after the 3rd and 4th year. And then here is our ideas about ads and collaborations, because this is a social media, so we obviously need collaborations and ads. And so we can grab some, later on when users rise, we can finally get some advertisement and collaborations with other companies. And also the marketing expenses. Of course, we need money to operate the company in order for it to grow. So we don't need that much in the first several years, because users are not that much, and I think I can manage stuff by myself. And by the referee salary, like Will said, $10,000. I mean, 10,000 people in the rank will have the free referee. So here we pay them for referees. So it's this is inspired by Uber. We offer some jobs for referees that they can ref on the top 10,000 players. So there will be this is the salary they will be earning, and there probably will be a lot more referees after this. And overall, the product has potential in the industry, and so please give me budget. And here's like a YouTube video of my unfinished product, since I haven't found a good application for that, and until I find this, I don't have any more time. So it's kind of like the post page, and with the avatar on top, which you can click to your own info. And here is like the stuff you can post asking for to play basketball, and you can click send. Okay, that's it. Thank you. And any more questions?
Thank you, Jerry. So now I'm going to ask Professor Biggle if you want to give your feedback.
Okay, thank you very much. I enjoyed listening to you. It's fortuitous that I'm being asked to evaluate you as a younger person. I was a varsity basketball player myself. Basketball was my life. So I can totally relate to your desire to bring an application like this online. So I just made some notes. I'll go through them as I wrote them. Early on in your presentation, you made some comment about which I didn't understand, needs clarification. Now's not the time, of course, to do that, but you made some comment about playing offline in order to improve skill level. I did not understand that. I don't know
So
how.
basically, you have matches in the like real person in the park. That's what I mean by offline. Yeah.
So that's not offline. That's playing in the park.
Yeah, play in the park, but like I phrased in the wrong way. Sorry.
Okay. And then there was, thank you for that. And then you mentioned gap scores with strangers. You go to the park and you play with a stranger, and then you get your basketball handed to you. And so that's not a good thing. I don't think that happens. It could very well be that I'm just old and don't know what's going on in the world today. But back in my day, I knew where to find the game, and I knew where good games were being played, and what days of the week and what time of day good games can be found. So for instance, where I grew up, there was a park not too far from my home where I grew up, and it was a mecca for good basketball players. And there were 8 courts, and the main court always had the best games. Everybody wanted to break into a game there. And then in the other courts, there were naturally lower and lower levels, so that when you got to the 8th court, it was the weakest players. So part of my concern about the product is that you're trying to, I don't know how to say this, computerize something which is really far more organic than otherwise. If I wanted to find a game, I wouldn't go online. I'd just go to the park and see if anybody was there. But maybe things are different today. I don't know. I was a little puzzled about the ranking system and the matching application. I would always look for players that were at least as good as me and hopefully better, so that I could improve. I didn't want to be. I knew where I stood relative to other players, because I get to know them by name. I would show up at these parks. I would quite literally also get on my bicycle and ride from one place to another in search of good games. So I got to know people that were good players. If I didn't know them by name, I knew them by style of play and by face. And I would look for it and find games that I thought were appropriate for me. I was a little puzzled about how the marketing is done. I didn't understand that. Okay, I'm going to skip this comment about posting games. I am not sure how you would qualify people to be referees and how they would be paid. You also made some mention about tips where you would post how to do different moves, left hand, right hand. I could just imagine what that's all about. But it might be a good idea to have some videos. I can remember many, many years back, there were videos run by the venerable Red Auerbach, coach of the Boston Celtics, and he would, and Larry Bird would do this, and Pete Maravich would do this. These are names you probably know. They would show how they handle the ball and how they do their different moves. So you might want to, I don't know how you would do this, but get videos of people demonstrating how they do things. You know, how does Steph Curry throw up a quick jump shot? That kind of thing. You mentioned trash talk.
Nobody that might be a part of the game. Okay, that might be a part of the game. I understand.
Yeah, I mean, the great players, Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, you know, from history, they were all trash talkers, and I guess it was unpleasant to have to play against them, but that's part of the game.
Yeah. I guess I based all my information on my friend. I mean, people in high school actually don't expect that level of trash talk. I mean, but like maybe more competitive, like college basketball and NBA, yes, they will
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. The other thing is you mentioned 10 million users. Now, maybe you can help me on this. With 10 million users, I mean, you don't have it. I live in New York City, the largest city in America, and we don't have 10 million people in the city. And I don't know how many of our how many people in our population actually go to the parks to play basketball.
So
I don't know what that number is.
I wasn't just planning on like in US, but maybe expand other like countries that's near.
Right. So I don't understand what the idea is. Would people travel from one city to another, in order to find games? I don't think that would happen.
I'm so sorry, I didn't make this clear. I didn't think about it.
So anyway, I think that needs to be refined. Overall, though, it's a very, very interesting concept, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. So now we're going to move to our next pitcher, Mathen, who's going to speak about combating the next pandemic, which is very interesting. So Mathen, if you want to share your screen and take it away.
Sounds good. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay. Can everyone see it fine?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let me get this. Okay. So hi, everyone. My name is Mathen Liu. I'm a student at Eastridge High School, and today I'm presenting my company Civitas. It's a platform meant to improve contact tracing through engaging the community. So with that being said, why do we think that Civitas is so important right now? Well, that's because we're entering into an era of pandemics. There is a higher likelihood of pandemics than ever before, and there's a lot of reasons for this. The first is there's a lot more zoonotic viruses because larger farming systems are being created. And second of all, melting permafrost increase from climate change has caused more and more viruses to be discovered. With that being said, each of these viruses has the chance to be just as bad as COVID, which is why in our lifetimes, there is a 38% chance of us encountering another pandemic similar to COVID. So let's look at COVID. There was over 770 million cases and close to 7 million deaths. So how exactly did this happen, right? We would say there's three main problems that happened. The first is disorganization, as there wasn't a lot of, there was a huge under-prioritization of COVID because people kind of underestimated how bad it would be, and that caused a lot of governments to be unprepared. But the second reason is poor vaccine distribution, because despite the efficient rollout of these vaccines, the distribution was horrible. For example, the United States had a huge surplus of vaccines, while some countries didn't have any. That meant that we couldn't actually get rid of the pandemic if it was spreading in other countries. But the final and most important reason was the poor contact tracing, right? Stopping the spread of COVID meant that people needed to isolate, and contact tracing was the way to do that. But because we didn't have a good system in place to contact trace, there was huge problems, and essentially the pandemic was able to get a lot worse. So let's look at some of the contact tracing solutions that we have today and we had during COVID. The first is public health workers. At the onset of COVID, a lot of public health workers were utilized to go door to door to ask questions and essentially tell people what to do if they had COVID, or they would do phone calls. But these public health workers quickly got overwhelmed as COVID spread really, really fast. Then volunteers were utilized, but these volunteers quickly turned out to not be a great solution because A, there wasn't enough volunteers, but second of all, they had low turnover rates. A lot of these volunteers weren't doing their jobs properly, and essentially were not following through on their contact tracing jobs. And finally, as COVID sort of got to its highest point, these contact tracing apps, as well as passive tracing, began to become really, really popular. For example, on all Apple phones, they had a contact tracing thing with Bluetooth, where essentially it would send out a notification that would alert someone if someone near you had COVID. Ultimately, these things didn't really work because most cities and a lot of countries just gave up on contact tracing. Here's a quote from the New York Times in 2020 saying that cities in Florida had largely given up on tracking cases. So there's a lot of flaws, but you can pretty much group them into three main categories from these past contact tracing methods. The first is high turnover and low numbers. There simply wasn't enough volunteers and there wasn't enough public health workers to contact trace. And also, a lot of these volunteers did not follow through, which meant there wasn't actually being effective contact tracing being done. But secondly, and a lot of times being really ignored, is these racial barriers, right? Oftentimes, public health workers and volunteers would not be in like predominantly minority communities, which meant these communities did not get the same care or contact tracing that other communities did. So even if other communities were able to contact trace effectively, these communities weren't able to do that, and as a result, face the brunt of the impact of the pandemics. But the final reason is low follow through, because these Bluetooth apps and contact tracing apps simply were not personalized enough. People receiving a notification that's impersonal on their iPhone doesn't tell them where these people might have been that they got where they got COVID, or like when this happened, meant that people didn't actually know what to do. They didn't have a reason to isolate, and they didn't actually follow through on these things. And that meant COVID still continued to spread. But we have a more effective solution that we hope can solve for most of these flaws and help improve contact tracing for the next pandemic. And that's Civitas. It's contact tracing for the community-based, it's streamlined, and it's very, very simple. So this is what the UI of our website will look like and what our application will look like. There's two things. The first is the website, and this will allow contact tracers and general people from the public to look at various resources and information regarding these viruses and regarding like these next upcoming pandemics, right? They're able to look at how many cases there are, where they're concentrated, where to get vaccinated, which places require masks and things like that. But the most important part for the contact tracing is the app itself. There's 3 iPhones here that show the UI, the general UI that most people will use. The middlemost shows what the contact tracers will see. As you can see, these contact tracers will be able to see where people should be contact traced and where people have reported they've had COVID cases, and you will see the time reported, and these contact tracers are able to decide where they want to go to ask people these questions and put it into our database, and they'll be paid a certain amount of money depending on distance and other various factors. The rightmost phone shows what the people who want to be contact traced looks like, what their UI will look like. So they're able to place where they have been, where like the places they know they have been when they think they've had COVID. They're able to put that information in, and they have 2 options. The first is to just put the information into our app and get a phone call from someone on our end who is able to contact trace and ask these questions. Or if it's in a community where they're not able to have this, they're able to have community members able to come over and ask them these certain questions as well in order to help them. So here's how the platform will logistically work. It's a centralized online platform. Again, it provides current information on these localized health issues. And the most important part is that it's community-based. So like I mentioned previously before, there's going to be monetary incentives for these community members. As you can see, it sort of follows a structure that's like very similar to how Uber and like DoorDash will do their payments, right? And these monetary incentives mean that there's probably going to be a lot higher follow-through rates. But furthermore, also, the platform is a lot more trustworthy than random public health workers and random volunteers who you don't know coming to contact trace, right? Because it's community-based, people are more willing to trust people in their community, more willing to disclose information, and therefore improve the overall contact tracing process. For the people who want to contact trace, it's a quick application process, and it benefits their own community, which is a huge incentive, because if their community doesn't have like these pandemics or viruses anymore, that means that they can, potentially go to different stores now, or like all these other benefits, right? So here's how the market looks like for contact tracing technology. The contact tracing technology market is forecasted to grow at a rate of 16.8% per year, which is pretty substantial, and it's predicted to be at $15.49 billion in 2030. That's really important because right now there's not a lot of competition in the contact tracing market to compete with our product. Like I mentioned before, a lot of these things are just like Bluetooth apps that don't really address any of the issues that I stated before. There's no apps doing the unique a unique community-based contact tracing that we mentioned specifically is a value of Civitas. That means that a lot of people will be using this platform over other platforms. Some target locations include Florida and Texas, who, like we said, wanted to contact trace, but again, simply did not have the amount of public health workers or volunteers to do so. So here's how the financial model looks. The first step is promotion. Of course, getting communities to use this product is probably the most important thing through social media, news advertising, and things like that. This advertisement also benefits us in that we can contact companies for advertisement placements on our website and potential sponsorships. Some of these products could look like face masks, like face shields, other products that can help aid these pandemics, right? And these ad placements and sponsorships will allow us to get payment, and we'll take a percentage of that, but also that we'll have a pay-per-click system where people click on these ads, we get a certain amount of the money, right? And this money will also go to the volunteers who will be paid through these stipends, which are paid from us through these ads and subscriptions. So here's sort of our progress and vision. The website is currently being worked on a lot right now, and we're hoping to deploy it on October 15th for people to use. And the application and app is also being developed, and we're hoping for that to be deployed for beta testing on November 15th. Ideally, the testing will utilize where I live around, which is in Minnesota, and we'll be able to see how that can address things such as like the flu and things like that in the winter, right? Obviously, there's not another pandemic happening right now, but we can look at how it will work in a situation like that. And of course, we want to continue to present at pitch competitions so we can gain like investments and potential like feedback as well, and see what people think, what they think can be improved on, right? And of course, we also want to present this to Y Combinator in the winter pitching round to potentially garner even more investments through that. So again, thank you everyone for your time. This is Civitas. If you want to talk, there's my email, mathanlu@gmail.com. I would appreciate any feedback because we're trying to figure out how to make this company a success. And yeah, any advice is really appreciated. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mathan. That was awesome. So now I'm going to invite Professor Eaton, if you want to speak a little bit about the product, the pitch, and kind of give Mathan any feedback you might have.
Right. So first of all, Mathan, thank you very much. Very impressive. I really enjoyed that. I thought there was a lot of great aspects to it. I'll go into details in a moment. It was very professional. I really felt you spoke with confidence, that you knew what you were talking about. I felt the research behind it was well done. You've addressed the real win worth it aspects of your idea. I understood from the very beginning what the problem was. You explained the idea very well. You had prototypes and mock-ups of the platform, which I think is something that we didn't see with perhaps some of the other presentations. Not that I'm comparing, but that was very obviously very thought out. I like the social structure. I like your use of comparisons to existing startups, so that made it easier for people to connect to, especially people without a medical background. Speaking about medical background, I wasn't quite sure what the medical background of the team is. This is we're talking about something that is requires quite a lot of deep knowledge, medical knowledge. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if you're a doctor yourself, Mathan. I'm assuming you haven't finished your medical degree yet. Of course, I'm just joking around, but I would have liked to know who your medical expert is. Are you working in conjunction with any leading researchers, with any hospitals? How can I see that there is scientific basis to your idea? Maybe there was, but I definitely missed it. I didn't quite understand where that knowledge is coming from. Good to see comparison to competitors. I always like to see the use of a comparison table. Makes it much easier visually to very quickly throw up your main competitors or the main way things are being done, even if it's self-service, if people are helping themselves, just so we can very quickly see how you compare on the main functional / technical / cost aspects to your competitors or potential competitors. But as I said, very professional. My one comment to you, which I would say to everybody else so far, if I can use this opportunity, watch some TED Talks. Watch how presentations are started. You will see that there is a certain style to pitch presentations, which is the norm in pitching today, and that style is not starting off with hums and and self introductions, but by jumping into jumping into an element that will capture our attention straight away. So there's definitely room for improvement there. I think your pace was for the most part good, but you could have slowed down. I think we can say that to pretty much all the presenters. Slow down. You don't have to give so much information. Concentrate more on the most powerful information, because we as an audience can only take so much in. So remember that, you have a lot to say, you have a lot to share. The enthusiasm of everyone has just been phenomenal, and I really love it. But remember, we as an audience, we get overwhelmed. We can only take in so much. So less is more very often, and slow it down. Take a breath, take a pause. Obama was great at that. Obama was if you look at speeches of Obama, look at speeches of Steve Jobs, you will see the pause is one of the most powerful things you can say, ironically. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up. So I love the storytelling aspect. What else did I write? I like the fact that there was a roadmap. I think you were one of the few people who presented a roadmap of where you want to go, and you put a lot of emphasis into promotion. You spoke about the financial model. All of that was great, was very clear, very, as I said, very professional. I was missing, though, an understanding of the medical authority, but on the whole thing, very well done, very impressive, especially if you're not just play acting, but you are actually taking this forward. So good luck with that. And the last thing, I think, so also you've been the only person who's done a real call to action. Call to action, for those of you who don't know, is how you end a pitch by saying what it is that you want from your audience. And you were very clear about that. Contact me, ask me questions. I want to speak to you. I want to make those connections. So there was a very clear call to action, something that was missing in some of the other pitches. So on the whole, ticked a lot of the boxes that we look for in pitch making. Well done.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to move along, and this is going to be the final presentation for our business sector, and it will be Lucas talking about Featherflock. So Lucas, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, we can definitely hear from you. Go ahead and take it away whenever you're ready.
So, yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome to our app,
Featherflock. My name is Lucas Shi.
And my name is Ryan. These are the contents that we'll be discussing today.
Ever feel lonely? During the peak of COVID-19, researchers conducted a study on the connection between loneliness and depression. The results showed that 55% of lonely participants met the criteria for moderate to severe depression, compared to the much lower 15% of non-lonely respondents. Moreover, 35% of lonely respondents had ideas of suicide, while only 5% of non-lonely individuals had thoughts of suicide. This shows that being disconnected and lonely can significantly increase chances of depression and suicide.
Our solution and offering. In a world where a single smile or warm greeting can brighten someone's day, we have taken the art of socializing to the next level. Welcome to our app, Featherflock, where we bring people with shared interests and place them into their respective groups, called flocks. In the world of Featherflock, we believe that finding your flock can bring a new level of excitement to your social life. We aim to provide a vibrant, engaging community where people passionate about their hobbies and interests can come together, share experiences, and build lasting connection with like-minded individuals. We provide a secure and interactive space where devoted fans of movies and entertainment franchises can openly express their enthusiasm and engage in spirited discussion. To further elevate this experience and to differ it from other apps, we have decided that our app will be providing a fun and interactive platform similar to that of a video game that will further connect them and users of the app to their fantasy world through our signature nests, mini games, and fun events. The purpose of the app is for users to log in daily for a short amount of time, either to check in with their nest members or participate in mini games. Featherflock is made, and we're hoping to make it into a fun, interactive social media platform that ties in elements of video games and social messaging. This is our mascot, Rojo. The design is still very much in its prototype phase, but Rojo is our mascot. He's a vibrant, music-loving bird who loves to communicate with others. And the parrot is also known as a very communicative bird in the wild, which is why we chose this mascot. Now, this is a closer look into our app. So in the first image, we can see a location-based system, similar to Snapchat, that will showcase in IRL or in real life events that actually happen around you. These events can range from meetups or simple meetups to conventions of that certain hobby and interest. And in the app, when you enter the homepage, there will be a beginning phase where the user will choose a specific nest to join. An example of nest environments may be the Avengers Cinematic Universe, where inside, upon entering, you can see iconic structures such as the Daily Bugle and the Avengers Tower. These iconic structures can allow users to have a general hub where they can meet and interact with each other on their different avatars. Now on the industry and marketplace. The first competitive advantage that we believe we have is the niche community that we're planning on developing. Featherflock specializes in connecting people with specific shared interests and hobbies and allows them to tap into their desire of basically seeking meaningful conversation with others and engaging socially. And also it addresses mental health problems, which are very beneficial for the user base as it touches upon social interaction as a main point and a main selling point for this app. It also has a very unique user experience as we tie in elements of video games and the leveling up systems, which we'll talk more about, and also the monetization opportunities where we'll introduce cosmetics and unique character customization.
Our targeted consumer audience are teenagers around the age of 13 to 18, because 90% of teenagers use social media today. But our app can be used by anyone over the age of 13. Our app is for people who want to meet new people who share similar interests or hobbies. This could range from enthusiasts looking for other fanatics or casual people who are looking to just have some fun. We believe our app has enormous potential. As of 2023, there are currently around 4.62 billion active social media users. That is over half the world's population. To capitalize on this huge opportunity, we plan to implement a unique in-app currency, what we call plums. You can use plums to buy cosmetics and cosmetics. And we'll also have a subscription-based service, which will provide users with limited accessories and allow users to have more customizable features. Finally, we'll have advertisements in the app, which will be our main source of revenue. Although the social media marketplace is extremely competitive, the social media marketplace is also quite different from others. For example, if somebody were to buy a toilet, they would choose a company, buy the toilet, and use that toilet for the next couple of years. Social media platforms, however, are not so limited. Studies show that the average person logs into 7.5 different social media platforms monthly. This means it should still be relatively easy when compared to other markets that are as competitive as the social media market to garner a large user base, because people have the ability to use multiple social media apps and aren't just restricted to one. This is our timeline. In 2023, we plan to start the development of Featherflock, which will include development of avatar customization, profile customization, and more. We'll also create the map that Ryan showed earlier, and also implement the messaging system. In 2024, we will continue development and create nests, which are basically the group chats. And in September 2024, we'll have an exclusive invite-only test. In 2025, we plan to have a regional beta launch in New York at the start of the year. We'll gather feedback from the users to polish the app and fix any technical issues. And in the summer of 2025, we plan to have a regional soft launch in Eastern USA. Next, in 2026, we plan to have a national launch somewhere between February and July, depending on how the app performs. And at the start and at launch, we'll introduce the currency and subscription-based service that I discussed earlier.
Now this is just off a whim, but our international plans for this app include basically implementing new language services for the app, and also abiding to that country's privacy and like security laws too. In 2027, we're hoping to expand international if the app goes well, and along with that, add new features and changes to prepare for the global launch, such as translations and other regional events. In the following year, we will hopefully be adding international launches in the following countries, such as the UK, Japan, Australia, Canada, etc. And within the 2029 to 2030 phase, we're hoping to host worldwide contests and events that will hopefully incentivize users to join because of the prizes and yeah.
Our mission is to change the perspectives of the people. What I mean by this is that most people today look down upon social media. And this is because of several reasons, such as cyberbullying, unreal expectations caused by photoshopping pictures on, for example, Instagram, and political polarization, to name a few. We want to change that perspective of people by creating a social media app that is true to our values of creating a positive mental impact, to talk, to interact, and most importantly, to have fun. Our tagline is "Find Your Flock."
To summarize, we are aiming to create an app that stays true to the purpose of what we believe social media was created for: to meet, connect, and create bonds with people who share similar interests and hobbies, but in an elevated and more interactable form. This is our team.
That's our team. Thank you for listening to our presentation. If you have any questions or feedback, you can contact us here.
Thank you so much. So now, Yoonduk, if you would like to give some feedback, share any thoughts that you had about the presentation.
Sure. Thank you for the presentation, Lucas. And so overall, I love the aesthetic of the presentation here as well. I like the music-loving parrot, and the mock-ups I also appreciated, because when we were talking about apps, we usually think about it in terms of, okay, how are we going to program the user interface? But most of the time, pen and paper are sufficient to just materialize your great ideas. And I think it's always great that you just whatever you have in your head, I think it's always nice to just like draw it up, and then like whatever work that needs to go on the back end, I mean, you can just do it later, because I mean, a lot of the aspects of user experience and design, I mean, they don't need a lot of technical overhead. So I think you're off to a great start there. And I like the aspect about how you're designing the apps. And yeah, it seems like you have like a solid foundation on how you're going to create a new social media app. with that said, there are a couple points I would like to give you more like a feedback on. It's that, okay, I guess it's just one point, right? So when it comes to social media apps, as you mentioned, it's a very saturated market, right? And one thing I think that makes or breaks the app is, okay, can we get it afloat? Because due to the nature of the network effects, right? The more users you have, the better it works. And if you don't get it up and running by in the first year, I mean, you're going to bleed cash, and it's never going to be able to make profits. It's unfortunately that's the way it's been with a lot of the social media models, because as you mentioned, I mean, the business model it's not a pay for service, right? It relies on there being a lot of users on your platform, and so for me, I think the biggest question that has not been answered is, so how are teenagers, your target audience, why are they going to use your app instead of Twitter or Instagram or any other apps that they already use, like TikTok, right? And that is, I think, the question. It's a very simple enough question, but it's the most important question that you have to answer. You did mention that it's social media. It's a large market. It's like relatively easy to get a new user base, but as I mentioned, due to the nature of this boom or bust nature of the market, it's you actually have to just throw everything on the line in your first year, and you have to make an aggressive effort to gain users. And I mean, I appreciate the angle about finding your flock, like mental health awareness, and all these kind of things, but I haven't really seen what the implementation is about. Okay, so how are you going to promote awareness about mental health through your app? Is it going to like focus on messaging features that are like more like geared towards mental health? I mean, maybe there are features that maybe check up on people, right? Check up on the users or on how they're feeling, and maybe provides a more open environment for people to discuss. Maybe, I don't know, there are like anonymous post features because maybe teenagers, they don't feel particularly safe opening up about some of the issues, personal issues that they're having, right? So that is where you have to I think like work on in order to convince your audience that they actually want to use this app. Because in the end, I mean, regardless of how much funds you have, regardless of how much effort you put into it, if people don't use it, social media app is useless. So I mean, take the example of Meta's Threads, right? You might have noticed like Meta released, I think, Threads as an alternative to Twitter, now known as X, on July, right? And they had the full backing of the whole Meta platform, Facebook, Instagram. They had all the tie-ins, and they gained a lot of users in like a couple days. But 2 months later, I mean, the user base is down by apparently like 80%, and it's, I mean, people are saying, okay, like no one's on Threads anymore because no one posts on Threads. It's a vicious cycle, right? So so I think that is the biggest puzzle you have to work through. Like, okay, I mean, I saw the mascot with the music and like this shades, and so maybe it could be like a more of like a music based app like Spotify. And so I think you should really focus on what your niche is, and also integrate that sort of competitive edge that your team has. Because I think one of the aspects about being a high school student is not just limitations. As a high school student, you know best what other high school students want. So if you want an app for other students, I think you're in the best position to find what that is. And maybe you could do that through surveys or other means. And so you could have this sort of like idea of like what the audience wants based on data, and you will have like these specific points that are geared towards them to attract them, that will make them say, okay, I don't like I have the option to use Instagram, Twitter, or find your flock. I'm gonna use that app, right? So we had another presenter with like a very niche social media app, right? Like the Prospective. So one aspect about that app was that it was very focused on people, pet owners, and like applying filters to their pets, right? I think you would need something along the lines that really like centers in, like, it shouldn't be just teenagers. It should be teenagers who are something, and it should be very specialized for those teenagers, because otherwise you can't really fight against these pre-established social networks and brands and their monetary prowess. So yeah, but I really love that you guys are just like doing this like running start, and love the enthusiasm, and I'd love to see how it goes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So as I had mentioned, this was the last pitch for our business sector of the event. So before as we kind of set up for the social impact sector, I would like to ask Professor Eaton if you want to speak a little bit. I know in your introduction, you had mentioned that you were the co-founder of a cloud-based product. So any advice you have for these students, any difficulties that you could share with them, since you were kind of in their position, that would be really helpful.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. So once again, good morning, everyone. I had a prepared speech that I'm happy to go through and maybe just add a little bit of specific advice. But first and foremost, I want to express my gratitude to InAmerica Education for what is really an incredible opportunity to be here today as one of the judges for this inspiring pitch event. It's a real honor to be part of such a remarkable initiative. I'm truly excited that what we're witnessing here from these talented young students. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to the students for your very what so far has been very interesting presentations. So as we gather here today, it's really essential that we reflect on the significance of this event within the context of the entrepreneurship camp, because I believe the camp isn't just about competition. It's really more of a platform for growth, for learning, for discovery, and it's a place where the seeds of innovation are planted and the flames of entrepreneurship are ignited. I can tell you that I had 2 startups. The first one 20 years ago that failed, and the second one a few years later also failed. And it took me that long. Only by my 3rd startup are we succeeding, and we have 20 of the top universities as our clients for our OmniVadi product. You're all welcome to visit the website, of course. And it's not a simple journey. It's a struggle. So this is a great opportunity for you all because of your passion and your enthusiasm. And as I've already said in my feedback, it was very, very obvious to hear this enthusiasm in everybody's presentations. And no matter what you need to improve in terms of content and presentation skills, you all, as far as I'm concerned, get full marks for enthusiasm and passion, which is crucial. It's really important. So just coming back to the fellow aspect, as an entrepreneur, the path is filled with challenges, especially when you're young, especially in today's world. The economic environment, it's never easy, even when it seems that it is. It's highly competitive, ultra competitive, and as young entrepreneurs, you will face obstacles such as limited resources, lack of experience, and fierce competition. And it can be daunting, and at times it will feel like an uphill battle. But here's the remarkable thing about challenges: there are also opportunities for growth. So every obstacle you encounter on this journey of yours is a chance to learn, to adapt, and to emerge stronger out of it. So the difficulties you face today and the failures you face, first of all, nothing to be ashamed of. With failure, with startup failure, it's a chance to improve. It's a learning experience, and it will make you stronger and will make you come out and succeed. And so this will make you more resilient and more resourceful as entrepreneurs for tomorrow. So that's why this camp and this pitch event are so great. There's an understanding of the hurdles you'll encounter, and it is designed to provide you with support, with guidance, with mentorship. And we see that here with your access to a wealth of knowledge of my two esteemed colleagues, Yung Dak and our esteemed professor. I hope I'm getting the name pronounced correctly, Professor Beagle. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that before.
Beagle, thank you.
Beagles. I'm sorry.
Beagle.
Beagle, right? Beagle. So I apologize for not getting that right earlier, Professor Beagle. Thank you so much. Entrepreneurship is not just about starting a business, right? It's a mindset, it's a way of thinking, it's a skill set that is highly sought after. And whether you become an entrepreneur or you join a startup or you end up working for a large company, the ability to think creatively, to solve problems, adapt and change will set you apart. So to sum up, as you move forward with this pitch event, I encourage you all to embrace this journey, to remember that every idea, every pitch, every moment is really just a stepping stone, right, in your growth, in your success. Embrace these challenges, learn from these experiences, believe in your potential, and at the end of the day, let's remember entrepreneurship. It's really not just about building businesses. It's about creating a better future for ourselves, but also for the world. And I'm looking forward to see that reflected in the social entrepreneurship pitches coming up. So in summary, thank you once again to InAmerica Education for this incredible opportunity. Wonderful to see this pitch event celebrate innovation, celebrate creativity, celebrate the limitless priorities, possibilities, that lie ahead. Really looking forward to witness exceptional pitches in the social entrepreneurship area, and good luck to all the participants. And it's been a wonderful day so far. I'm sure it's going to continue to be very memorable. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, so as Professor Eden mentioned, we're going to be moving forward with the social impact section.
Thank you, Isabel. Let's take a 3-minute break so everyone can get refreshed and we rejoin to see how our social impact section students are presenting. Thank you so much, Professor, for the impressive speech, and we will be back in 3 minutes.